Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 20916 Southwest Siletz Court here in Tualatin. We're located at the front of the house. We are underneath the front decking. If I could pop my head through those boards right there, we'd be right in front of the front door. Underneath here we have a 3-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is currently running. We're going to zero out here at the base of the cleanout. Off we go. And the line transitions immediately upon access over to PVC pipe that still appears to be 3-inch diameter pipe though. We'll see it bump out to 4 and probably 6-inch pipe once we start getting out near the sidewalk, street edge area. But right out of the gate, that is a superbly clean flow line right there. That is exactly how you want your flow line in a sewer to look. Zero grease buildup, really any buildup of any kind. Alright, we're going to make our diameter change here and material over to concrete pipe. I think we bumped out to 4-inch in the PVC, and then it looks like the 6-inch concrete. We'll get a better gander at things when the line drains out the end, and either way, neither of those pipe diameters are an issue. Anyway, what keeps a line this sparkly clean, by and large, and this thing is so clean I almost wonder if they cleaned it preemptively for the sale, but some homes do live this clean. The big thing is not putting greases, fats, and oils down your kitchen sink. Obviously improper items like wipes, paper towels, things of that nature you want to avoid too. But the big one that a lot of homes miss is the greases, fats, and oils. It'll gunk your line up like crazy. Alright, there's our main connection. The line terminates directly into the manhole out in the street. And luckily I got a good shot of everything on the way out there right before I went through that Indiana Jones sized cobweb there at the end and got the camera lens all gunked up. So far the line looks great. We're going to let the line drain off here for a minute. We'll go locate, and then we'll pull back in here, but so far I haven't seen anything obvious whatsoever going on. Alrighty, so the line terminates. This is the direction I was hoping the line was going to go. These sloped hillsides usually help prevent settling significantly, unless, however, the line ends up shooting underneath a retaining wall. Retaining wall areas are very common locations for lines to settle. Anyway, the line does not appear to go under the retaining wall. It looks like it ends up routing under the driveway. So there's a manhole in the street that sits straight out from the driveway. And when I go peer through that manhole and look at the direction the pipe's coming in, I can visibly see my camera down underground there. It's pointing back towards kind of the left side part of the driveway there. So as the line makes its way through the yard, it then jaunts into the driveway area and then shoots off into the street. It has a pretty straight configuration end to end here. And there is still a tiny little bit of water trickling off through the line. Even if that was standing water to begin with, it's not something I'd recommend you fix. And on top of that, the pipe we are in is city responsibility. In Tualatin, the city takes responsibility for the line at the right-of-way. So most, if not the entire concrete section of the line here falls into city responsibility. Generally speaking, the transition to concrete happens at the right-of-way. I've cameraed hundreds and hundreds of homes in Tualatin. That is always the case here. There's nothing wrong with the concrete pipe to begin with, but just so you know. Alrighty, all the concrete pipe that looks good, drains off beautifully. All said and done, it drains out entirely. What we had there were just the remnants of that. I did a toilet flush there a second ago to help clear gunk off the camera lens. Those just take a minute to fully shut off. And yeah, the line bumps to 4-inch right there, it looks like. You got a little bit of stringy something or another hanging from the... So right now my camera is kind of upside down. That joint there is looking a bit suspect. That's not the actual... At first glance, I thought that was the test T or test Y coming down. This is why I originally said I was kind of wondering if this line had been cleaned. It is so unbelievably sparkly clean. It has the look of that. I've cambered over 25,000 sewer lines. There's a particular way a line looks. Just under even homes that are trying to live very clean, rarely are they ever this sparkly. So I am going to locate this. That does appear to be a root intrusion there. My camera's upside down at the moment, so that root is actually at the top of the pipe right around where the test T drops down, test Y. And what's hard about these scenarios is and I can't guarantee the line's been cleaned, but it certainly has the makings, it looks that way. Everything about it does. Is if you drain clean a line thoroughly enough, you can delete evidence in spots, especially small roots. You can cut things back so far back into the joint you can't see them anymore. So this one right here certainly appears to have a root intrusion going through it, obviously not affecting functionality as it sits right now. But it looks like a root nonetheless. My only concern is, are there any others that we are not seeing? But that's really hard to say.
And you did like that.
All right, so I got this mark. I've tried to put a small X marking down just to not paint the heck out of the driveway, but right as if you're walking up from the driveway towards the front steps to go up the front door, there's a pretty obvious spot there. It's right where the retaining wall is cracked and busted out, and the driveway is kind of lifted there. Roots have obviously done their darndest in that location. Anyway, I put an X marking there. There is a little bit of a dirt skiff on top of the ground, so I'm hoping the paint sticks okay, but about 4 foot 11 inches deep is what I'm getting. Yeah, my only concern when it looks like a line has been cleaned, you know, that one is at least visible, so I'm hoping that that's the only one in the line. Just be aware of that. Sometimes, you know, with my flex shaft, for instance, machine, I can cut roots back in a lot of cases so effectively you won't see them. That's, again, not to say that there aren't more, but there could be. So just be aware of that. Anyway, as it sits right now, the roots are obviously not affecting functionality. Sorry for the word goof up there. Not affecting functionality. Line's free-flowing. And I just pushed back to the foundation wall. Everything from about this point on is all exposed piping in the crawl space. Try and get back in here a little ways though. Only reason I'm going this far is sometimes this style of home will have slab foundation in a part of it where the bathroom is at. Anyway, that's as far as I'm even able to go. What you're looking at right there is the back end of the line where the clean out access is. That's why that square shape is there. That's the square knob indent on the back side of the clean out cap. Anyway, very clean line going back into the home. Going backwards with a drain cleaning machine is less commonly done. That's not to say it couldn't have been done. I don't see that happen as frequently with jetting unless the line has experienced a full-on sewer backup. So, I mean, assuming that only the outside got cleaned, you know, and this gunk right here makes me think they may not have cleaned back. Anyway, not seeing a lot of strong evidence there of sewer backups that have occurred in the past. So that's not to say that it couldn't happen if the root's given a chance to grow. So first and foremost, I always recommend repairs to correct roots because it's a more permanent fix. You know, being that there is some driveway issues there and some retaining wall issues, that may be something you want to try and deal with all at the exact same time. So you're not doing it in parts and pieces. You're going to end up with a better result if those are other things you're going after anyway. I don't know if those are going to get repaired or not, but just keep that in mind how you plan that out. When you do things all at once, you end up with generally a better result. So as it sits right now, all I can see there are roots at 26 feet. I do recommend they be repaired and re-scoped afterwards to check the work. When you're under concrete like that, you want in general, repair or re-scope should be done when the line is buried, not when the trench is still open, especially so when concrete goes over the top. So you want to bury it, compact it, get it ready for concrete pour, scope to make sure it looks good, there's no settling problems, and then do your concrete pour. You don't want to find out the line settled after you've already poured concrete. Otherwise, the rest of the line here all appears to be in good condition as far as I can tell. What I can see right now, we have great flow end to end. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time, assuming the roots are either kept at bay by root cutting and or ideally by repair, which is a more permanent fix. If they are not repaired for some odd reason, obviously the line's you'd want to do some maintenance cleaning on it from time to time. Right now the line is not in huge need of root cutting. As things are flowing along just fine, you could do that. Sometimes I suggest doing that from a standpoint of keeping an eye on things. Ideally, if you were living with some kind of issue, whether it's a belly or roots, you want that line spiffy clean when you move in. That way, when you come back a year later to do a rescope, what you're looking at is the exact amount of debris and or root growth that has occurred in that span of time under purely your living habits. In this case, to give you an idea as to how quickly the roots are regenerating in that span of time, and then you can kind of gauge how frequently you want to be doing a root cutting. What I don't know is if those, potentially got cut 3 months ago, 6 months ago, or last week. So it's hard to gauge how quickly they're coming back and regenerating.